Starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the GreenRope webinars here. This is Ryan Ball with GreenRope. I think it's just me today, but maybe we have someone else on the line from GreenRope. I'm not sure, but today we're just going to be discussing e-commerce and storefront options within GreenRope. Pretty much everything you need to know about selling online, automating your online sales, creating a storefront. As you can see here, the topics to be discussed are the importance of selling online, step-by-step instructions on how to create an online store, store reporting, how to link your store externally for people using sites like WordPress or Wix or other CMS or website softwares out there, and then shopping cart abandonment and automation. So, yes, sorry, got to turn my screen on. Thank you for that, Bill. Okay, so my screen should be on. As you can see, this is what I just went over for the topics to be discussed. When you first log into your GreenRope account, you'll obviously go into your dashboard here. The first topic we're going to be talking about is the importance of selling online. So this is going to refer to just setting up a storefront within GreenRope and our e-commerce options. So all of you out there obviously do marketing and maybe have drip campaigns set up. You're sending out invoices or whatever it is. I mean, all your marketing efforts are going to that kind of final destination. An e-commerce or a storefront is the perfect way to set up that kind of that final spot for your users where you can direct them to actually sign up for something. So for people, maybe you're selling tangible goods, things like t-shirts or jewelry, like if you're just anything like that. I mean, you could set up, like I said, the jewelry for shipping, tangible goods, and then maybe you're a business coach, so maybe you're selling things like hour-long consultations or packages. At GreenRope, we offer some of our consultation packages like quick starts or website design on our storefront. So it's just the perfect way to just direct someone to sign up when start paying for your services, products, or whatever it is you offer. So that's kind of the why of why we're talking about this today. The step-by-step instructions for creating an online store is going to be our next kind of bullet here. So when you're in your GreenRope dashboard, underneath your website tab up here at the top, you could just go to your website, manage site. All storefronts have to be built within a website on our software. So we have videos and articles you can read about creating a website. If you need help, I'm sure myself or the rest of our team could help you with actually building a site. But the first step is obviously just go through the website settings, set up a storefront or set up a URL for your site, whatever it is, go through the design process, create pages. Once you kind of get the basics of your website set up, you can finally start adding items to your store, start thinking about how you want your store laid out. So the next step is just kind of switching over to your storefront option here. When you get into your store area, there's three kind of main focal points. When you get into this area, you'll see the categories you have created that you're currently using on the left-hand side. For any of these categories, your products will display in the middle area here. So as you kind of scroll down, you'll see all your products listed. And then on the very right-hand side, you'll have the actual categories themselves. So the categories are going to be any way you just want to organize your products. So it's going to differ from business to business, but like we have set up here, most of these are just tangible goods, things like t-shirts, jerseys, sunglasses, accessories, that sort of thing. Categories can also be different membership packages. We have a lot of users who use our e-commerce and storefront area for memberships, and maybe you have different categories for the different memberships. And again, it's just going to be really any way to organize products within a certain category or area. So kind of like how we offer in your group setup, how you have a folder for different groups within that particular folder. It's going to be the same kind of thing where the categories are going to be that kind of overall umbrella of where products can actually be within. So for selling online using our software, you will need to have either PayPal or authorized.net. Both have their ups and downs, or benefits and pros and cons for using them, but those are just the two merchants that we need or that you need to have set up in order to collect funds online. So storefronts won't work unless you do have a PayPal or authorized.net set up. So if you're wondering kind of why your storefront's not set up, it's you just need one of those to start with. So we'll first go over the categories. So again, on the right hand side here, you can when you first start your storefront, you'll have nothing listed, or you'll have a featured area or general. If you need to add additional categories, just you're gonna have to click on the edit categories up here. You'll see any categories you already have set up. So these are the ones I've already created. If you want to create a new category, obviously just press the new category button. Again, just maybe it's best to sit down before you kind of start going over your storefront and think about how you want your products laid out. Maybe you don't need any categories. Maybe you just want to list all your products within a certain general, like a general category or like a general area. What the categories will look like once they're added is, as an example, I'll switch over here. You'll see this is kind of a basic overview of what our storefront would look like built within one of these website templates. On the left-hand side, you'll see the categories laid out. So you'll see featured, glasses, pretty much everything that corresponds to what we have in our back end. You can easily just switch between these to see the different items within the different categories based on what you have set up. So this is kind of what they look like once they are set up. Again, you don't need categories. They're just available there for if you have tons and tons of items. Maybe you have hundreds of items you want to list. It might just make more sense to actually list them as categories based on whatever kind of type of product they are. Otherwise, if you don't have any categories, it'll just show up under featured category or a general type. So it'll just kind of start listing them as you scroll down here. I'm going to switch back to the back end here. So what you do, all the categories here are listed, so you can go through, delete them if you need to. And an additional option that we allow for the categories is allowing purchasers to single click to add all items in the category. This is just, it's a feature that we allow, like if you had, let me just switch over to glasses here. If you had a bunch of different items within a category, checking that box actually allows you to have this button appear at the bottom where with one single click they can add all items to your to a shopping cart. So maybe it's good for if you're have like an upsell category or something where you have a whole bunch of different products you want them to add just all by clicking the one button here. So it's just kind of a quick way to add all the items within a particular category. And again, that's just by checking or unchecking this box here in the categories. Once your categories are kind of set up, you can start adding items however you want. We have two different ways of adding items. You can create items one by one where you can just kind of go through the process of editing these items down here, or you can add multiple items. Maybe you have a storefront that's you're bringing over from a different software and you have hundreds of items. You can add multiple items by actually just using a CSV file type and using the comma separated values we have here. So if you do have a big storefront, this might be the best option where you just kind of go through your Excel sheet and copy and paste it over from your other software and just go through and make sure your items all match up with the comma separated values we have here. And again, you just would go and copy and paste that into this content area here, and then you should be able to preview items and add them to your storefront. So I know we have a few users that do that where they have, like I said, hundreds of items they need to add kind of on a weekly basis. So it's a great way to update or mass update your inventories, your items, whatever it is you need within GreenRope. Otherwise, if you're using just kind of a small, or if you're building or using a small storefront, it's usually best just go through one by one and just click on the create new item button. One thing about these two buttons for actually adding items is that you need to make sure and be within the correct category on the left-hand side. So if you need to add a new pair of glasses or something, you have to switch over to the glasses area, and then you can add new items from there. So just kind of be aware of that and make sure you're kind of in the right category while adding items. So I'm just going to switch back to my all category here. So when you click on the create new item button, you'll get I'll just click on the edit one here. you'll have a ton of different options, which is kind of why I was recommending you go through one by one and do it basically one by one. Sorry. So the category is set just by whatever group you're in. You can also set the category just by choosing a different one. Maybe you added it to the wrong category when you first started. So you can switch that here by just selecting the category. The item name is going to be what appears in the storefront. So name it whatever you want. If it's a t-shirt, name it whatever, your L logo t-shirt, or maybe it's a membership package like silver level membership package. Maybe it's a 2-hour business consultation package, whatever it is. Just label it appropriately so that you can kind of reference it in the future. I'll take the questions at the end, so sorry about that. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. I'll do all questions at the end. I'll just run through this and then we'll go over questions at the end. So sorry about that, but we'll just kind of continue on. So once you add an item, what you can do from there is there's a few options here in this next area where you can make an item featured. This just makes it appear first anytime someone visits the storefront. So if I go back to the storefront here, you'll see the 2 featured items right when everyone kind of goes to that storefront. They're basically just the items that appear right off the bat instead of having to browse through the categories. So maybe it's your best sellers or your best packages, that sort of thing. You can also create an item so that it's listed in every group store. Maybe you have a bunch of different websites you're all running within one account. So maybe you have all your groups here with the different websites. Maybe you want the item to be available for all those groups. And this is where these last 2 options, you can make them available and allow them to be sold within different groups. It just kind of helps with having, that way you don't have to go through and re-add the item every single time within all your different groups. Reoccurring refers to reoccurring payments, so you can set it up as a one-time charge, monthly or annually. For any recurring payments, monthly or annual, you will need an authorized.net account. That's one of the main differences between the collecting via PayPal. So you're up here at the PayPal or authorized.net. If you have any kind of recurring monthly charge or payments, you'll need to set it up so that authorized.net or that authorized.net is your merchant account. Otherwise, if you're just selling one-time charges, then you can just use PayPal. The picture is just going to be the picture that is shown. If you need, I get a lot of questions where people ask if they can show multiple pictures. And the answer is yes. Instead of maybe you just upload one main picture into your picture area here, and then what you can do for adding multiple pictures is actually just adding them into the description area. So the description area just refers to what you see when we switch back over here in this kind of middle area. So the description is a full HTML builder. So it's what you'll see in our website builder. It's what you'll see in our email builder, where you can actually go through, change the content however you want, add pictures, just really do whatever you need to within this description area. Again, you can it's full HTML, and we have our full builder here where you can really add whatever you need to. You can have as much or as little content as you'd like. Next up is going to be the price, the big one for you guys, and actually getting paid for your services or products. So the price is just going to be whatever you want to set it at. You can collect payments in pretty much most currencies around the world. It's just a matter of changing your account currency in either your group settings, if it's via PayPal, or in the top right hand corner under your settings account, you can actually set different currencies as well there. So your price, it should list it as well. So right now it just defaults to USD, but it would tell you if you're using Canadian dollars or Australian dollars, whatever it is. For reporting, you'll want to probably enter in the costs associated to making this item. If it's a business coaching, maybe it's your hourly rate. If it's an actual tangible good, maybe the actual how much it costs through your manufacturers, that sort of thing. The cost will actually reflect into your pricing, and it just kind of helps with reporting. So it's good just to list that. The current inventory, obviously it's just the inventory, whatever you need through 0 through whatever 3,000 million, whatever you want your inventory to be, just set that here. what you can do from there is you can actually show the inventory on the website. So you could actually use it for like a sense of urgency. Maybe you only have 10 products left, and you send out an email telling your clients, hey, we only have 10 left, buy now, whatever it is. So you can show the inventory if you like. If not, just leave it unchecked. And then you can also remove the item if the inventory gets down to zero. So um, a lot of people like to use that just because obviously if you don't have anything left, you don't want your users purchasing those. Maximum in cart allows you to set a maximum number of items that people can actually buy from you. So maybe if it's a membership, maybe you only want them to be able to buy one membership and not add multiple memberships. So you can actually set that to one or whatever you want your maximum to be. Recommended items are going to show during checkout, which are basically just obviously recommended items that might go with this item. So it's great for using it for upsells. So like if you're offering maybe business coaching, you can also offer recommended items such as actual building content for your users. So maybe you have a content package or you have a website package associated with that. Same thing like maybe if they purchase a jacket, they want to purchase a beanie and a scarf. So the recommended items is just you can pull from other items on your in your storefront that might go well with this particular item that you're currently working within. The custom fields are going to be kind of an important additional feature that we have. The custom fields actually allow you to collect upsell payments or allow you to choose like it shows here, like a shirt size or color. So I'll show you an example of what the custom fields look like. So when you're browsing through the products here, you'll see the custom field I have set there is, do you want a second grip at 50% off? If they choose option yes, it'll automatically add that amount to whatever the product price is. So you'll see that's here. No, it's just going to leave it as whatever price you had before. So these additional options are quite often used as upsells. Another note, you can use it for collecting additional information. So like if we switch over the jerseys, or yeah, sure, we'll do the jerseys. So if you're doing a jersey here, you'll see that there's different colors available. The option, maybe there's no additional charge for having different colors, but you still need to know which color works best for them. So that's where you could actually choose and pre-label the different colors that they can choose from. So things like that is where you would use these additional custom fields. So the first part, and you can also have up to 3 of these. So you can just click on the add custom fields to allow up to 3 different additional options. If you can actually also leave the field blank if you are looking to collect the actual basically information for that purchase as well. So it may be kind of what we were just going over. Maybe there's no additional cost. You can also leave the custom options up here blank so that they can actually type in what their value should be. So maybe you just leave it up to them to determine what you want. Otherwise, just go through and comma separate and list everything out. So you would set up whatever. Do you want a grip? Yes, no. If you don't want it set up that way, just remove these, and you can actually allow them to type in what the option would be as well. So again, you just need to add a name to it. So this is what's just going to show in the cart. The options are going to be the different options that are listed. The additional cost refers to the actual cost that it'll add to the price. So the $350 adds to that $699. It'll add that to the price. Zero obviously just adds zero. Again, make sure just comma separate everything. And then the custom field inventories allows you to set custom inventory. So maybe you only have 10 shirts available in black, and then you could set those here as well. So that's kind of the custom field options. Again, they're very often used as just upsells for your products or services. Like even if you were browsing our GreenRope storefront, we offer additional website purchases or additional hours of consultation for purchasing any of our products. So that's kind of how we use it, and you can use it however you need to as well. So again, yeah, you just have 3 of these available. So that's kind of that. Down below is shipping options. You can set shipping amounts and how much it should cost as well. So you can offer like free shipping. This is generally only used for if you're actually selling products. If you're doing services online, you generally don't need a shipping option available. But if you are shipping stuff, this all needs to be pre-calculated as well. So we don't have like a built-in calculator for shipping. You just need to do estimates on the product, the weight, and whatever else kind of refers to the shipping. Down below the shipping is going to be where you can actually add custom JavaScripts. So maybe if you're using our storefront and you have like a Google Analytics setup and you want to track using their code, you can add their code into here. What we use it for mainly is the conversion tracking. So that's actually what our webinar next week is about. But conversion tracking basically is, we'll get into it once we get to the fifth point here about shopping cart abandonment and automation. But basically, it's just a way to track who actually goes through the process of converting and purchasing for the items. If they get stuck in the shopping cart process for like more than 48 hours, that's where you can set it up so that it sends out like maybe an automated alert to yourself or to them. Just stuff like that. So that's kind of where the shopping cart abandonment comes into play in this conversion script area. Just kind of make note of this, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Some of the other automation that we add on a per item basis while creating these items is actually adding a purchaser to a certain group. So maybe if you have a silver level membership, you want them to get added to that silver level membership based just based on purchasing this item. So you would just basically choose the item, whatever item it is, and just based on them purchasing this item, they're added to that group. So once they're added to a group, as most of you know, you can have a whole bunch of different automated things happen. You can have workflows take place, certain automated emails. Maybe you have a drip campaign that goes out with all the follow-up sequences that you need for, or maybe information that they need to know for their membership, like how to log into their membership site, what to do next, that sort of thing. So that's where you can add on a per item basis. You can also do this on a per storefront basis, but we'll get to that in a sec. And then you can also assign a workflow. So besides the normal standard workflow that you might have for people joining a group, you can also assign a workflow to purchasers based on this product. So maybe you have a specific workflow for a product or for a few different products. And just kind of a recap of workflows, just basically any series of activities that might be automatically assigned to you and your team. So maybe they purchase this item, they need a follow-up phone call the next day, maybe send a contract over the next day, that sort of thing. And then at the very bottom here, we have some additional items or some additional options. These are used for if you're selling downloadables. So maybe you have a white paper or an ebook that you're selling. You can actually specify a download URL. So this is like maybe you have your URL on Google Drive. You can add that URL here. Otherwise, you can select the item directly from your media library just by choosing whatever the actual media file is in this little drop down. If you're using this, most of this will be trackable as well. So anytime people click on the links and are downloaded and pay for the item, you can track to see when they actually downloaded it just by it being in our media library. So that might be a benefit of actually storing your files in our system as opposed to like on Google or something else like that. And then you can also specify the number of downloads per purchase. So most of the time it's just one, but if you want to leave it unlimited, just leave it at 0. And that's kind of all the options for actually adding an item. Yeah, so it's quite a bit, but it's definitely very valuable, and kind of that's why I was kind of at the very beginning saying just go through the options and make sure you just kind of do the items one by one while you're first getting started off. That way you kind of know what to do and make sure everything's kind of set up properly. As soon as you're done with this, just press save item, changes to this item. And then you'll see it pop up on the store. So the item we were just kind of looking at is going to be this first one here. So you'll see it pop up on the store with pretty much all the options available here that we just set. So like the custom options, the shipping, if you have shipping, and then everything else. So oops, where am I? GreenRope. Okay, so that's kind of adding the items to your cart. The next tab is going to be your purchase and checkout options. What we were just looking at here again is going to be on a per item basis. Once you have all that set up, you can go into your purchase and checkout options, which are going to be your kind of store level automation or your store level settings. So this is going to be things like you can set the price, so you can mark it as price. Maybe you want to change it for membership level, whatever it is. This is just going to be how the amount is perceived on your storefront. So like if I hover over this, it'll show you can do a donation or a gift, just call it whatever you want. Also, instead of maybe on a per item basis adding people to groups, you can actually do it on a storefront basis. So maybe you don't care about what item they purchase and you just want all purchasers to go into like this Dangle group, customers group, for example. So maybe all purchasers always go into this group regardless. Down below, you can customize opt-in text, which when checking out, there's an option to join a newsletter and be added to the current group that you're in. So this is where you can just customize that newsletter opt-in text. If you have additional terms for your items, so maybe you have terms that go along with purchasing your items, you'll need to specify the URL here. So I'll switch back over to our storefront really quick. So if I add an item to the cart, so this is going to be kind of what the cart looks like once you're in this area. The terms we were just talking about are going to show at the bottom here. So if you have additional terms, like I was saying, your users can click on this and see what those terms are, and then be taken to that page just to review them and just to make sure they read them or whatever it is. And then finally, the purchase thank you URL is going to be basically the page they go to as soon as the whole shopping cart process is done. So maybe you just want them to go back to your home page, or maybe you have a thank you page, like a thank you for purchasing our items page, or whatever it is. This is where you would specify that thank you URL. So I'm going to go back over to our storefront really quick. I know I didn't really show this before, but this is basically what our shopping cart looks like. So you'll see items, how they're displayed, what options they selected. So if they selected additional add-ons and so forth, how many inventory they have, they can update that as well. So they can change that here and update cart if they needed to. And then the price, like the running total of what their current price is or whatever. Billing information is always going to be required on our system, so people always have to enter in billing information. The shipping information can be optional, just depending on whatever the items have, if they have shipping or not. But basically, they just need the billing information just to verify once during the checkout, either through authorized.net, like we run an address verification, or via PayPal. So this is going to be the only information that's required. And once they're done, as soon as they press checkout, they'll be taken to either authorized.net to pay or PayPal. So basically, it's just kind of a 2-click process. Verify your product and how much your cart's running, and then check out, and then they can actually pay. So that's kind of how the cart runs as well. Okay, and then one last thing here in the settings area for your purchase and checkout options is going to be actually allowing discounts based on members being part of a group. So you can actually allow people to have discounts just based on being in a certain group. So you can literally just choose whatever group it is. So just select the group, and then you can actually adjust the price. So you can charge additional if you needed to, as a premium, or you would add a negative amount for a discount. So you can do this on a per group basis. What we've also added pretty recently within the last couple months is actually discount codes. And actually that's next on our tab here. So if I go over to the next tab, discount code, it works the same way, where you can actually offer discounts. For example, maybe you're using under apps, you're using our coupons area, and you create a coupon that you send out to all your customers to use, and they can bring it into your store to use. Or if they go to visit your online storefront here, maybe you just use the same discount code that's generated by the coupons area, and allow it to give them whatever 10% discount. So you can do it that way just by using our coupons area. Maybe you have a discount that you just give to friends and family, call it family discount, whatever. You basically just go through and add these discounts here. They all need to be preset beforehand, and then the system will recognize the discounts once they're entered, and you can actually give them the discount during purchase. So again, just add the code, whatever the code's going to be called, whatever you want it to be. You can set it on a per item basis or on all items. So it can be on any order in your storefront. Otherwise, you can maybe just do it for specific items. Whatever you need for that. And then you can actually discount a value based on the money or a percentage. So you can do that. Maybe it's a $15 or 10% discount. And basically just go through and preset all these, like I said, and then you should be good to go from there. And you can give out the discounts how you see fit, and you can email them out or post them on the social networks, whatever it is. The next part, so we're at that store reporting. Yeah, so the next part in our webinar is going to be regarding the store reporting. So the store reporting is going to be kind of the last two tabs here in your storefront area. The first is goals. These are either sales goals that your storefront has, or maybe if you're running a fundraiser, they're goals for how much money that's being donated or how much is left. So in the goals, you basically just go through, create new goals, and then you'll see on the right-hand side, you'll get a graph of how much money people have paid so far and what your total is. So again, it's great for sales or fundraising type settings. So I'll create a new goal here. You enter the name just for your reference, call it whatever. Maybe it's a sales goal for whatever March. Maybe you say March sales goal, or if it's a yearly sales goal, just label it however you need to. You can make it public and visible on your website. That way, maybe if it's a fundraiser, people can see how much is left to go via that fundraiser and how close you are from kind of hitting that threshold. Otherwise, you can just leave it unchecked as kind of hidden. And then you can actually set starting dates and end dates for these goals. So if it's a yearly thing, just set it for a year, monthly, or quarterly, whatever it is. You could set these dates here as well. And then for the selling, this refers to which items they are. So maybe just particular items like a fundraiser item. Maybe if it's just a general sales goal, it's all sales stuff. Maybe if you want to see how well a product's doing and set certain goals for certain products, you can set the products as well. And then the goal is for just whatever the amount is. So you would just enter in the amount, and then it'll keep calculating that, and you'll see this running total over here on the right-hand side. For these goals, you can do it for all your storefronts in your entire account. You can check if it's yeah, and you have a few other options here. So you have the goals for each group member sales. This just refers to fundraisers. Scrolling list of people who've paid. Again, this is good for fundraising, just so people can see who's paying and purchasing items. Otherwise, you can just leave these options unchecked if you don't need them. So the goals is either publicly or for your back-end purposes, just to view how your store is running and how it's doing. The big one here is going to be your reporting. So the reporting is going to be just all your reporting. So you'll see, you'll have your graph here. It'll show you, let me just go back a year. It'll show you total store transactions, and then it can also show you any shopping carts that have been abandoned. So if the system recognizes the user, it will list the user as being an abandoned cart. Otherwise, they just remain kind of hidden, and then you'll see your total storefronts. So this is just going to be all the dates and basically how many purchases have occurred over about a year here. The top part here is a filter. So what I just did to update the chart was I just changed the date. So if you just if you need to pull reports, you can do it for whatever the date is. If it's a month or over a year, at all times you can just click the update chart to update this chart above. And then the two other filters down below is the filters for categories. So you can filter for all categories if you just want to see how all your sales have been doing over a certain amount of time. And then you can also do it for particular items. So maybe, or your particular categories, sorry. So you can do your categories and maybe see how particular items are doing. From there, you can also select the items within those categories as well, just to see how those particular items were doing. Just really however you need to report and filter your information here. What you can do with all graphs on our system as well, just kind of as FYI, is you can actually copy the data to clipboard. It's kind of a quick way to export information off the graphs into your Excel. Like if you just needed to print out a quick report to take into a meeting or something of kind of how your online sales are doing. Just right click on the graph and you should be able to copy data into clipboard. Just choose that option and then you can paste it right over into your Excel right off the bat. Otherwise, down here at the bottom, there's an export transactions button as well, where you can export all this information into into Excel sheet as well. So what we're looking at here is the actual transaction deal. So based on the filters above, you'll see these are the details of the transactions, how many transactions you've had, how much gross revenue there's been. So it's, and then the net profit refers to the cost and the price of the item that we were referring to before, where it'll actually calculate and give you a running net profit of how much you're running for the storefront. And then just some other averages on how it's doing. The operating profit is just a percentage of the cost and price and how that's doing as well. The nice thing about this as well is if you'll actually see every single contact, so you'll get information on their shipping address if you need it, how much they purchased. You can click on the magnifying glass to see additional information, what they purchased, where they purchased from, and a unique ID for that transaction if you need to reference that at any point. Just stuff like that. You can also click on the information there to pull up their CRM. Maybe you need to quickly follow up with them and mark off an activity in the CRM area. You can click on any of their names to pull up that contact record as well. So this is kind of the transaction reporting based on the filters right above. The other one is that it will calculate abandoned carts as well. So if you show the carts and data, you'll see carts of people that were recognized or maybe people that weren't recognized. For example, like here you'll see that this person wasn't recognized. But basically you'll see automatically who's in your CRM or based on in your CRM who might have added items to a cart and at what time and day they might have accidentally maybe not purchased an item or just for whatever reason abandoned the cart. We'll get into automating this and how you can actually send like email alerts out to them or to yourselves for these shopping carts. This is just basically reporting information. So maybe you just want to quickly follow up with this person just because you saw them in the reporting area and you saw that they just happened to abandon a cart. So you can follow up with them in this reporting area just again by clicking on the CRM or editing their contact record that way. If at any time you have maybe you have purchases that are coming in person, so maybe they're cash or check purchases, you can add manual or add multiple manual transactions just to help with the reporting and stuff. So if you click add manual transaction, you can basically just go through and mark off whatever purchase amounts and stuff that they paid in cash or check or whatever it is. You just go through and just select the items and just go through the process of basically just filling out all the information for them. That way, that information is reported into your CRM firstly, and then secondly into this reporting area, just to kind of help with keeping everything all organized and together. All these purchases do also show in the CRM. So like if we go back up to the transactions, any of the purchases by like myself will show up in the CRM area as well. I kind of forgot to mention that, but it just kind of helps while you're looking at a contact record. You'll see any store purchases that they've made in the past, and maybe it's good to follow up with them, or maybe you're on a phone call with them and see or mention that you saw that they purchased something a couple months ago and maybe they're interested in doing it again. That's kind of the whole point of the CRM, is just going to keep a running total of everything that's kind of going on, and these purchases all do get listed there as well. So that's adding the manual transactions, and then again, you can add multiple transactions if you need to. It works the same way as the first adding items area. So you just create a CSV with the proper headings, and you can import all those overall at once if you have multiple for whatever reason. So that's kind of the reporting area. Next up is going to be how to actually basically link your store or direct people to a storefront. So like we mentioned in the beginning, since it is built in a website area, so like right now we're looking at the manager website within the Dangle Grip group here, your storefront will automatically be associated to this website. So like if I switch over to the store here, you'll see that the website is danglegrip.greenrope.com. So you'll see the website we have set up here, all the different pages. One of the pages happens to be the storefront. So you can use our templates and our design for creating a storefront. So if I click on store, you'll see I go back into the store area here. Within our system, you can also use this URL, so the .greenrope.com URL, to actually send out via social networks, the /store here, or email campaigns, or whatever you're doing, and direct people that way. So the direct link here will work just fine for most needs. If you are interested in getting a website made and stuff, you can remove the .greenrope.com. It's just a matter of changing your domain settings, and it basically just removes the .greenrope part. That way your storefront is actually, or your entire website just built at danglegrip.com, for example. And then again, you would just use the URL for your storefront appropriately, or however you need to, using this link at the top here. For websites that are built externally, we do have quite a few users that do this as well, where they actually take this URL. So they'll take like the danglegrip.greenrope.com/store URL, and they'll actually add it as an iframe onto their site. So an iframe is basically just like a window within a window on a website. So if I switch over here, like if we were working within WordPress right now, for as an example, you'll have your builder here. If I click on the source, you'll see that I just have my standard iframe code here, which is just the iframe, and then it actually references the greenrope.com. So basically, you could just use an iframe code to actually embed our storefront onto your website on WordPress or Wix or whatever it is. And what it would look like if I just click on the test link. I just have it built on this basic kind of page here, but basically you'll see that there's a little scroll bar now, and then there's this white area down at the bottom. But I mean, basically this iframe is sitting within a different page. So you'll see this is a test page. So it would be the same thing on WordPress. So instead of .greenrope.com, it would be like your WordPress URL here, and you would have the iframe within your page. So it's definitely doable. Some people get turned off by the thought that they can't actually embed their storefront onto external sites, and we have plenty of people that do it, and it's usually no problem at all. So if you need like personalized help with that, we can always work through that as well. So that's, again, basically you just use the URL we provide. So whatever your storefront is, .greenrope.com, and you would just use that as your iframe. Even if there wasn't all this other stuff around here and you just had a basic storefront set up, you could use that and embed that pretty easily. So yeah, that's kind of how you would go about embedding it onto an external site, that is. And then the last topic here is going to be shopping cart abandonment and the automation. So we kind of went over how you can actually use the reporting area to see carts that were abandoned. Again, next week's webinar is going to be about website tracking and setting up conversion codes. Basically, what you'll need to do if you want to set up automation for your item purchases based on conversions, or the shopping cart abandonment, you'll need to go to website tracking, or just switch over to the tracking tab here, and then switch over to the code. This middle area here, you'll see that one of the tabs is code. And then we provide you the conversion tracking code that you can customize however you want. So you'll see this is basically the script we give you, the conversion code. Basically everything that's in caps you'll want to customize. So this conversion code, all caps, is going to be maybe the name of the code or the item. Generally it's just the name of the item. The value is how much it's valued at, and then a stage number is going to be the different stages in the conversion process. So for setting up shopping cart abandonment, you'll need it to be set up in a two-stage process. One, the first stage is going to be what we kind of went over during the item setup process. So you'll set stage one conversion to be that script that we were kind of going over in the actual when we were creating the item. You want to add the first conversion code there as stage one, and then stage two would be like a thank you page. So you'll have to add this code with the customized conversion code set up, and then instead of stage number, it'll say 2, obviously, but you'd have that second stage available on that page, or on that thank you page. And it's basically just how the system knows that once someone adds the item into the cart, that stage one. That stage one happens just based on them adding the item to the cart, and then the shopping cart abandonment takes over when it recognizes that someone hasn't gone to that stage 2 in maybe 24 to 48 hours, or whatever it is that you set. So This is basically the code that you would need to set up. Once it's set up and you kind of think about how you want to set up and maybe the different codes and how much the value should be, if you switch over to this automation tab, this is where you would actually set up these certain automated actions that can occur. So you'll see that I have the grip set conversion code set up. So it's a two-stage code. So if I switch back over to the code, you'll see that the conversion code, all caps here, would be grip set. The value would be $6.99 or whatever the product is, and then stage would be either 1 or 2. So you would need two different codes for the different stages. And then if we switch back to the automation, so you'll see the grip set here that we just kind of went over. You'll see when it should be completed. So this should actually be at 2. And this is where you'll actually create these automated email or automated whatever you need, like automated adding them to a group or sending them certain emails. So to get this, I actually just clicked on this add new automated conversion email option, and this is just kind of where you would set up this shopping cart abandonment. So again, conversion is completed at stage 2. Once it's converted and they're completed in the cycle, you have a few different options here where you can add them to certain groups. You can send them certain emails based on converting, and you can set up certain CRM workflows. A lot of this is pretty similar to what you can do on a per item basis in the storefront. So some of this you might not need to worry about. In this case, the big one is going to be the abandonment tracking down below. So this is where if they're stuck at maybe stage 1 for 48 hours, 24 hours, whatever it is, you can add them to a certain group. Maybe you add them to a group called abandoned carts or abandoned carts or something like that. And then you can also send them an email that's already been pre-designed. So you can actually send an email maybe with one of your discount codes. So say, hey, we noticed you didn't purchase whatever cart from 24 hours. Here's a new discount code. Take 15% off. Buy now. Whatever it is. So I mean, you just need to pre-design that email, and you can select that email right within this area as well. And then that's kind of the basics of the shopping cart abandonment. I know it's a little bit more complicated just because it gets into the more advanced automation that can occur. For most of the settings and most of the basic automation, you can just use our storefront area, so you don't really need to use any of these conversion codes for most adding items or most people getting added to groups based on item purchases and that sort of thing. But if you do need to set up shopping cart abandonment, since it is kind of one of our unique, more advanced features on our software, this is the area to do it. So it's basically just a matter of setting up the conversion codes and customizing them how you need in order to make it work the way you want. And again, we do have a webinar next week that'll probably go over most of this again as well. So maybe in the week's time, you can kind of do some homework and set up a storefront, how add some items and kind of get it going the way you want. And then by next week, you might be ready or more ready for the kind of the more advanced stuff like the automated tracking and that sort of stuff based on the conversion codes. And again, this is all found under the website tracking area. So if you just need to switch over to website tracking, or if you're working within the storefront, it's just one tab to the left under tracking. And then you'll have a bunch of different tracking information here available for your domains and your storefront. But the main two that we went over today is going to be the code, the very last one over here on the right under conversion tracking, and then the automation tab. And if you get stuck at any point as well, you can hover over the little question marks, and it'll actually give you information on like what the conversion code refers to, the value and all that kind of stuff as well. So that's where you could just hover over these question marks and you can get more information on how to customize the code how you need to. So that's pretty much the e-commerce and setting up storefronts on our software and kind of all the basics and information. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. We'll do questions now since we're at the last 10 minutes here. Just add your questions into the chat area and then I will go through them. So when we first started, we had one. Once you've entered an item into categories, can you edit the category? Oh yes, so once you've entered an item into a category and you need to change the category for whatever reason, you can do that pretty easily. So in the storefront area, if you need to change the item or the category for whatever reason, just switch over to that item. So switch over to like the glasses, for example, You'll see all your added items here in this kind of these gray boxes. Just click on the edit button. Oh, and this was for Stephanie, by the way, sorry. Or yeah, Stephanie. And then once you're actually in the item editing area, you can switch the category for that item just by selecting the very first option and just changing it to like, maybe like I said, you added the sunglasses to the wrong, maybe the sunglasses were in the t-shirts for whatever reason. You could just check the box for glasses and just press the save button at the very bottom, and it'll move it over into a different category for you right off the bat or right away. Cover how we host on our website. So Mike asked how you would have the website or have the storefront on maybe a website, like if it was on GoDaddy or Wix or WordPress, sorry. And Mike, it's basically just a matter of using the URL that we provide you. So you just go through the website builder. So you'll have your go to your website area. So manage your site or website, manage site. Go through the different options for creating your site within GreenRope. So the very first one just kind of gives you a URL. So you would want to create a URL. Go through the design of designing it however you want. We have designs that are totally basic, just plain white designs. You would go to the pages, set up the pages however you need. Maybe it's only a storefront, so you can literally just go through and check or uncheck all your boxes for all your other pages, and then check the box for your storefront. That way it's only a storefront type website. And once you do all that, once you set up your storefront, you'll see something like a .greenrope.com type of URL here. So this URL up here at the top you would use as an iframe. So you just copy this, add it into an iframe code, and you would add that iframe code onto your or embed it into your WordPress site or your GoDaddy site or Wix or whatever it is. What you can also do is just add like a button to your site. So you can like add a little button that says something like click here to go to our storefront. And once they click on that button, they're actually just taken into the greenrope.com hosting site here. So it would be something like .greenrope.com. And again, you can remove the .greenrope.com just by switching around the domains and that sort of thing. So hopefully that answers your question. If not, we can always kind of go over specifics after the webinar is done sometime. Can custom fields, Sue was asking if custom fields can be done in multiple item uploads. I don't know if they can. Let me just see here. So I add multiple items, hover over the question mark. So if you hover over the question mark, the items here that are the headings here, the headings here are that are comma separated are going to be the fields you need on Excel. So it doesn't look like custom options are available. What you'll have to do is just add them via the import or whatever. Just use these highlighted fields here, and then you just need to go back through and edit the items if you needed to add additional field options or additional whatever additional stuff you needed to. Where do you set up discount, and is the code assigned? Yes and yes. Or I don't know if that first one's a yes, but to set up discount codes, there's actually the tab for discount codes now. Like I said, for some of the longer term GreenRope people, it's a fairly new feature within the last maybe 3 or 4 months, but just switch over to the discount codes tab here. And then you can actually just pre-assign or pre-create all these discount codes. So like I was saying before, maybe you want one for your family or for friends. Just label the code however you want, and then you would just set the amount. Again, it's just one of the discount codes, and you can also assign these to certain items. So maybe you only want certain items to get certain discounts. Otherwise, you can select the one where it just says any order. So on all orders throughout your storefront, you would actually just get whatever this discount code is. And then Sue again asks, oh, never mind, she was just commenting. Okay, now Judy had a question. So if there's a long detailed description for your product, is there a way to have a summary show and then have a link to the details? Yeah, Judy, there is. Like we were going over before, if I go to products and services here, so if you just pull up the item again, so like if you just click on the edit for an item, our little builder here in the middle for the description. So this is fully, it's a full builder. So I mean, you can use it however you want. If you are your website person or someone's HTML savvy, you could create little JavaScript tricks where you can actually have expanding text if you needed to. You can highlight the text here and actually just click on the little link icon to actually maybe link to like you said, maybe link it to a different website where there's an actual item description. So you can add links to the items. You can use the builder in the description area pretty much however you need to. So you can add, I think the easiest way for what you're referring to is just creating a link to the details. Maybe if there's somewhere else, like on your website, for example, you would just link it to that area. Otherwise, I mean, you could add terms and conditions if you needed to as well, just link it there. But yeah, I mean, that would be the easiest way, just by adding it into the description area and then using the little link button to actually link it. Okay, so Judy had another question. Sold by group members, is that like an affiliate program where people in the group can have their storefront? Yes. So it can be set up on kind of like as an affiliate program where we do have some users that actually do that, where on one account they have 40 to 50 different storefronts, and every single storefront is like a URL for a different person. So maybe instead of it being like danglegrip.greenrope.com, it would be like ryanball.greenrope or Ryan Ball storefront for Judy, whatever .greenrope.com, where each person would have their own storefront. The benefits of doing that is you can actually track the purchases that that person's leading to that storefront, so you can actually see how well that person's particular storefront is doing. And that's where you would use those items that you're talking about, Judy, where you would basically make the item available for all groups or all your different websites. What might be worth looking into as well, Judy, is actually going to websites and campaigns and affiliates. We actually have an affiliate part of our software that actually will automatically reference, like if you send any link out with the danglegrip.greenrope.com/store, you can actually customize this URL for your affiliates and actually give them their own unique links. And the system will recognize that anytime someone visits using one of those links to associate that person's payments with that particular order and that person or that person's code. So that's under the website's campaigns and affiliates. So it might be worth looking into actually setting up some affiliate stuff as well, just because we do have an actual affiliate area. And again, that's just under the website's campaigns and affiliates. And you would just, since the items and storefront is set up in our system, it's actually even it's very easy to set up, where you would just give each of your affiliates a code and the link to the storefront, and they can actually, like I said, it'll track the payments from those different affiliates just based on those links that you give out in this campaigns and affiliates area. Mark Sullivan asked, can we use PayPal and Authorize.net on the same page? Yes, you can use both, and a lot of people do use both. So yeah, so the answers to your question, Mark, is yes, that you can use PayPal and Authorize.net at the same time. I think it prefers Authorize.net though. So if you were checking out, I think it refers back to Authorize.net either way, but just in case, I can follow up with you on that, but I believe it pretty much always refers back to Authorize.net as the default. But yeah, you can have both available, and having both available is sometimes a benefit, just because PayPal is free and it's easy to set up. And then Authorize.net is great for collecting any kind of recurring payments. So that's good. So Judy had another question about when you're talking about cash and check orders and manually. Okay, so Judy was asking if when you manually record payments, so you can add multiple items, or it's actually on a, let me just double check this. So if we go back to the reporting area, it's the manual transaction is actually going to be on a one item basis. So you actually would have to do it for each time. So if you did have multiple, like a person purchased multiple items, you would have to add the transaction for all three of those different items as different transactions. So under the select item, you would just have to select whatever it was. Let me just, oh, okay, never mind. So if the item's different, you will have to do it as different transactions. If it's the same item 3 different times, you can just add a number of purchase, just set it to like 3 or whatever it is. But like you're asking, if it is multiple different items, you will need to create 3 different transactions for that person manually. And again, I mean, you could just do that via like an Excel sheet or an import by adding manual transactions, and that's it looks it's down here. So down at the bottom, if you had a whole bunch of cash orders or check orders, you could just do the same thing where you just create a CSV file in your Excel and comma separate each of these headings, and then you just preview the transactions and import them into your area. So just depending on if it's one transaction, it's probably easier just to use the one manual transaction. If it's multiple, then just use the multiple one. And then again, you just use these headings down that are highlighted. Okay, so I think that's all the questions. It was nice speaking with everyone, or not really speaking to you guys, I guess. So if anyone has any additional questions, you can always email support@greenrope.com at any time. My email is ryan@greenrope.com. If you need any specific stuff answered, or if you have any questions at all, just feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, next week's webinar is on conversion tracking and website tracking and analytics. So it gets into the more advanced tracking and analytical stuff that we do in our software. So it'll probably be a good follow-up to this webinar. So just sign up online like you did this one, and just let us know if you guys need anything else. And hopefully you guys learned some stuff today. And again, just let us know. Take care, everyone, and thanks for listening in.